Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Hello and welcome to a very special Between Takes episode of Missing Frames. This is the podcast on the Nerd Party Network where we usually watch all the movies we should have seen by this point in our lives, but we've already seen these movies and we're just going to talk about how much we love them. And to do so, I've brought along Mr. Aaron Prescott from the Rest in Pictures podcast. Aaron, thank you so much for being here.
Ho, ho, ho. Thank you for having me on this festive event. Getting to see one of the best Christmas movies ever.
It's absolutely a Christmas movie. I was going to ask with that ho, 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 are you telling me you have a machine gun?
I may be no, I am not packing.
You probably should not be packing.
No.
Not while we're and you know what? Anyone listening to this should not be packing. I know we're talking about Die Hard, but you know, the enthusiasm can go a little too far.
Leave it to John McClane, okay?
Let's not forget this is a Christmas movie as well. And we're not only here to talk about Die Hard, the entire Die Hard franchise, but we're here to put that argument to rest once and for all. I mean, Aaron, you can agree this is a Christmas movie, correct?
Absolutely. It's funny. So we both met in our the film club that I had going on at the Alamo Drafthouse in Ashburn.
Yes.
And I feel like every year during Christmas it comes up like somebody, and it's usually somebody trying to like start an argument. It's like, here's a Facebook post either pro or anti Die Hard being a Christmas movie, and it probably gets the most like communication between the entire film club out of any post that we do all year. And it just has that sort of like fervent energy of like, you know, people I'm not sure what the real dislike is of having a Christmas movie that is this amazing, but you know, it gets under people's skin somehow.
I don't understand. To me, there is no debate. Like, it's a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas movie. That's like the debate at all that it exists at all is just it feels like there's something broken inside some people, and the only way they can choose to express it is to try to tear down a perfect holiday concoction as this.
It's true.
And ruin everything. But I mean, we're here to definitively state that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. That's why we're rewatching the entire series for Christmas to celebrate the holiday. And this is something we started with your partner in crime, Brad Gullickson, who is also on the Rest in Pictures podcast. And we started this with, we watched the Batman movies, the Burton and Schumacher era. And then we watched all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies for Halloween. And unfortunately, Brad could not be here for this episode. I don't want to go so far as to call him a slacker, but
I would. I would. I mean, that's usually what a regular episode of Rest in Pictures is me calling Brad a slacker and him having to defend himself poorly, and you know, it just comes out. We barely make it to the next episode every time.
That's what makes the podcast such a joy to listen to.
Just a real firecracker every episode.
Yeah, I would. Would you go so far as to call him maybe the Harry Ellis of the podcasting world?
I wish I thought of that earlier. There's no better description than the Harry Ellis of podcasting. Yeah, let's go with that. He's also called me like booby before. I don't know why. He just does, and
Aaron,
I don't approve
booby.
of it. Booby.
Yeah. That sounds like something Brad would say.
It is.
But the spirit of Brad will hang all over this episode. We're sorry he can't be here, but it just makes it that much more wonderful that we can make fun of him without.
I just love that he can't
anything.
defend himself.
So, Die Hard. This is such a fascinating franchise. It's been going on since 1988. And very unceremoniously came to a conclusion in 2013 with the fifth entry, A Good Day to Die Hard. But
who knows if that's the end? Okay,
who knows? I can only hope. I don't want to spoil my reaction, and I don't want to ruin the Christmas spirit from the get go. But let me ask you this: do you remember the first time you saw the original Die Hard, Aaron?
I honestly don't. It feels like one of those. It feels like Star Wars. It feels like one of those movies that's just kind of like lived with me forever.
Yeah.
I remember just like repetitively watching this all the time on VHS, and I honestly watching it way too young. Like that just feels like I don't know why my parents would have allowed this. Maybe they didn't. Maybe this was me sneaking an R-rated movie under them. But yeah, it's kind of always been there.
Yeah, it was kind of the same way for me. Although I do remember. I mean, this is absolutely a movie I saw probably at too young an age. I was about 12, 13. I don't know. Maybe that's right about the perfect age to see Die Hard. But I was and still am a very sensitive young man. More so than to the point where R-rated movies really freaked me out.
Yeah.
It got to the point where it was like my parents were actually saying like, no, you can watch this R-rated movie if you want. And I was like, no, I'm okay.
So responsible of you.
I know. It was worse because my brother, who's only a year and a half younger than me, but when you're that age, that feels like a huge gap. Like I'm the older brother. I'm the more worldly and advanced and mature one. But he was just like already watching all this stuff. And he had seen Die Hard, I'm pretty sure, before I did. And I was kind of like, oh my God, my little brother is even watching this and I'm too scared to. And I think what happened was, and again, this just further reinforces why this is a Christmas movie. But my brother asked for the trilogy set on VHS. This is back when Die Hard was just a trilogy, and it was a Christmas present he wanted, and he got it. And we were at my grandparents' house, and it was just one of those moments where I think all our cousins were there, my uncles, my grandpa, and it was like all the guys are going to sit down and watch Die Hard. And I was like, oh God, if I don't do this now, I'm really like trading in my any semblance of masculinity or manliness. It was just like one of those moments where I was like, I have to watch this. Mm-hmm. I can't. All my cousins are here. They're older than me. I want to look cool. And I finally watched it, and it just completely blew me away. Like I was just so in awe of that movie. But that is to say, Die Hard has that same lasting power and that same kind of like, I feel like this is still one of those movies that I feel like I grew up watching.
Oh,
like
sure.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I mean, it's transitioned into adulthood in such a bizarre way because it really like, you know, you have a lot of those films where it's like it's really cool and big and boisterous as you know, a young kid, and like especially as a young boy growing up, and like, you know, guns and explosions, and there's, you know, there's a pair of boobs in there, and it's like it's everything a young boy needs to grow up.
Exactly.
But you know, when it matures into adulthood, you know, this is the one movie that my wife and I agree on. We are polar opposite people. My wife is the mature, responsible, you know, brilliant one, and
she's the Holly Gennaro to your John McClane, essentially.
This is not even like, that's not even a lie. This is 100%. And so it's funny because so we're polar opposites in a way where she doesn't like having her heart rate elevated outside of working out. She doesn't like having her heart rate elevated in any way. Horror, suspense, thriller, anything like that. It's like, keep that away from me. So when it comes to those kind of movies, she stays away. This was kind of early on in our relationship, and I was like, hey, it's Christmas time. I always watch Die Hard. You want to watch Die Hard with me? That's not really her kind of movie. You know, hers is more like, let's watch The Notebook instead, or let's watch 8 Hallmark original movies in the meantime. And I pushed this on her, and she accepted. And it's been one of those where, like, every Christmas, we both get equally excited to sit on the sofa and watch Die Hard, and she loves it. And if that doesn't say something about this movie, where somebody who is not a fervent, like, action head that loves, you know, this style of filmmaking and this genre, I don't know what can sell you on this movie. It is perfect for everybody.
See, that to me is further proof that it is the magic of Christmas.
Magic of Christmas, absolutely.
That is it is just instilled. It's part of this movie's DNA. Further that's it. We are proving definitively that this is the case, because a movie, I don't think it could do that without that magic.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, Aaron, I think this is just something else that we can check off the list of things that prove this is a Christmas movie. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, this is. It's funny. I have other I have my stepmother Mary. She is the same way. Doesn't like action movies. Doesn't like violence. Doesn't like anything. But I think it's Bruce Willis gives this movie a pass for her. She for some reason loves Die Hard because she's like, I love Bruce Willis, so therefore this movie is okay.
There we go.
I think. I agree. As a kid, you kind of embrace all the violence as like, yes, this is such a crazy movie and I love it. And it isn't until I started, as I started to grow up and started to watch it more and more, and I just realized like this is the same way you kind of start to look at other movies with an analytical eye and say like, why does this movie work? Like, what makes these characters so lovable? What makes the story so engaging? Die Hard is one of those movies like Back to the Future or the original Star Wars, where you just have this like perfectly structured movie that is so creative and so inventive and takes a lot of old ideas and instills them with this energy and enthusiasm. And it just results in this perfect concoction where everything seems to be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And that to me is, and especially with this recent rewatch, that's what stood out the most to me is this was a movie I think they rushed into production. I was reading that they needed a movie for Fox needed a movie for their summer '88 slate, and they were just like the guy who wrote the movie, whose name escapes me. It was Jeb Stewart.
Steve D'Souza.
He did. So D'Souza wrote. He rewrote the draft, but it was originally Jeb Stewart who had written a draft of the movie. It was an adaptation of a book, which I completely forget about, called Nothing Lasts Forever, which had a lot of similar elements, like a gruff cop trapped in a building, but it was a little more grim and a little less fun. And Jeb Stewart basically wrote this script, and they just were like immediately like, yep, that sounds good, we'll do that, and rushed it into production. And Steven D'Souza, he came in and he did his rewrite.
Which it's funny because it was rushed, but also it was something that was kind of like tortured in kind of development hell for like such a long time. Because like you said, it was originally a sequel to a book, but it was a sequel to that book was made into a movie that starred Frank Sinatra.
That's right.
And so contracted within his contract, he was actually offered, or they were forced to offer him the role to this movie.
Sinatra?
The Sinatra.
Oh my God! Can you imagine what this movie?
This would have been him in his 70s. Can you imagine a 70-year-old Frank Sinatra doing his best Bruce Willis?
I can't, and I don't want to imagine it.
And so that's when it evolved. That's when Steve D'Souza kind of came in and reworked it. And I remember a long time ago that this was actually supposed to be. He formed it into a Commando sequel. And because Arnold Schwarzenegger was attached at one point. I read conflicting reports that wasn't true, but I was almost positive. I listened to a podcast with Steve D'Souza where he specifically talked about that. But so I don't know if that's true or not. But that's kind of like that's such a great storyline to go from a Frank Sinatra vehicle to a Commando sequel with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But Schwarzenegger didn't want to take it on because he wanted to start doing more comedy, to start like flex different muscles.
As we all know, that worked out really well. It also resulted in one of the other best Christmas movies ever, Jingle All the Way.
Well,
everybody wins.
He started with Twins, and that eventually led us to Jingle All the Way. I agree with you.
But it's amazing. That is amazing that the movie, like you said, like this movie had a lot of different lives in pre-production. And trying to get it to trying to get it to the pre-production phase.
Yeah.
And the fact that it seems like a recipe for disaster. Rush the movie out. Let's just put all these elements together. We'll cast Bruce Willis, who's not a big star. They were looking at, I think, like Richard Gere. They originally
looked at
the
everybody.
top guy.
Everybody. Like
everybody.
Stallone, Richard Gere. I think
Ford.
Stallone was in there. I think Dustin Hoffman was. I mean, they literally went through everybody and eventually landed. I think kind of like what they thought was to their detriment, or kind of like this is our last kind of option. He's a nobody. He's only known for like this kind of comedic role on a TV series, and
Right.
that's it. And I believe he actually originally turned it down, but because his co-star was pregnant at the time, that stopped production, and
Right.
he
Sybil
was able
Shepherd.
to go off and do it. Yeah.
That is just like what the miracle of Christmas working in this movie's favor to make it happen.
Do you think we would have gotten the same Bruce Willis now? That if he didn't get Die Hard? I mean, this seems like
hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I mean the movie is so, and I think it was I don't remember if it was McTiernan, the director, or somebody else who said like the second, I think it might have been actually the screenwriter, either Jeb Stewart or Steven D'Souza, who said like they met Bruce Willis and it was just a revelation. It was like, oh my God, John McClane, like that's John McClane. Like this is who it is. And it's just that like that swagger, that attitude. But unlike the action heroes of the day, like, because Lethal Weapon had just come out, which had kind of embraced a little bit more of a humanistic, humor-driven cop film, which I guess you could say, like, there was 48 Hours, there was Beverly Hills Cop, and Lethal Weapon was kind of in that territory. But like Die Hard has this sort of down-to-earth, like working blue-collar guy trapped in this insurmountable situation. It's not a situation where it's like the action hero like Rambo or like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger who can just work his way out of any situation. Willis just has that swagger where you like totally believe this guy is a cop, but also like that he can pull off all the stuff he does, but you also like fear for him, and you're like, oh God, I don't know if this guy's gonna make it.
Oh yeah, when you
and
have,
that's what he uses that. That's kind of what his thing. That's his kind of shtick, really.
oh yeah, when you have Arnold or when you have Stallone in a role like that, or whatever role they're in, they feel impenetrable. They feel like bullets just like bounce off of their bulging muscles.
Yes.
Like it doesn't matter how many times you take a shot at these guys, they're going to make it through. Like, but when you have a guy and his, you know, his major weakness in the movie is glass, you know, it's like,
bare
wow,
feet,
that's
wife beater.
Yeah, just a wife beater and shards of glass, and you're like, this is pretty amazing. But yeah, no, I love this movie. I guess we've kind of already started to get into it, but like it's like every part of this movie just kind of hits every right note. Like when I was watching it with the wife this time, I was, you know, really kind of focused on, you know, kind of, oh, what can we talk about, you know, on the podcast for this one? And I literally was just like watching every little thing. Every single shot means something. There's not a wasted shot anywhere. The smallest moment from like at the party where they give her the Rolex, and that pays off at the very last scene.
Oh my God, I know.
Just everything. It's so like, take away any one scene and it means something, you know? It's crazy.
Watching it again reminded me how important it is to have a character you care about at the center of a movie like this. And beyond that, the importance of surrounding that character with lovable, either characters you love to hate or just characters you love to love. Like this movie is full of the most endearing characters. I would argue you could probably make an argument that this movie has the most endearing cast of characters of maybe any action movie.
Yeah.
Like just any straight action movie. That's what impressed me the most watching it again, is just the efficiency of the storytelling. Like you're saying, from the get-go, we get a really good feel of who McClane is. And it's the performances too, but it's the writing. I love the exchange between him and this random guy on the airplane where it's like, oh yeah, make balls with your feet and that'll help you out. And then again, that pays off just a couple scenes later. That doesn't have to pay off, but it does. And it just kind of humanizes McClane's character. You get to have him meet Argyle and sitting in the front of the limo. What a brilliant visual gag.
I mean, how many movies are we remembering the name of the limo driver?
Yes.
He doesn't have that big of a part, but there's something about Argyle where it feels real, you know?
He feels like just one of the like lead actors in the movie. I mean, he is barely in the movie and doesn't really do anything, but he's so charming and he's so lovable, and you just I think that was McTiernan's goal. He wanted this movie to be so like filled to the brim with colorful characters that you just loved. And he wanted it to be, because originally it was going to be terrorists. Like Gruber and his group were just going to be straight terrorists. And McTiernan was like, you can't make a movie about terror. It's just like, there's nothing fun about that. Like, it's just terrorists are miserable. So he wanted to switch it to bank robbers. But that kind of carried through the rest of the movie, where he's like, how can I just fill this movie with so many delightful, colorful characters? But like,
and it works because it makes them so petty. Like, they're just doing it for money. They're taking all these people hostage on Christmas Eve,
killing
just
innocent
for this.
people.
It's great. And
Yeah.
well, since we're talking about it, I mean, we talked about our main cast of, well, we talked at least about Bruce, but Bonnie Bedelia and Reginald Val Johnson kind of lead out
man.
the good guys. But the cast of bad guys is fantastic, and knowing this is Alan Rickman's debut is mind-boggling.
That is insane. I did not even realize that. I thought he'd maybe been in a couple other smaller things, but this was his film debut. He almost didn't want to do it because he was like, oh, what is this stupid action movie? And
Yeah.
I think his agent or somebody was like, yeah, this doesn't happen. You don't move to LA and then get like a major role in like a week. Like,
Yeah.
take it. You're
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
But this is kind of spoiling opinions of future movies. There is no villain in the series better than Gruber.
Oh, no.
Ever. And so much of it is Alan Rickman.
Like, Hans Gruber is an all-time like baddie. Like, when you make like a list of like the all-time bad guys in cinema history, Hans Gruber is not just on the list. He is up there near the top.
He is the list.
Yes, he is the list.
And it comes from the writing, but the sheer amount of charm that he is allowed to. I just his first spoken line, just the ladies and gentlemen, just the world weariness almost, like his just kind of like is just calm down. Like, maybe it's because I've seen it so many times and I already know, like, I love the guy, but just the way he says it just immediately endears me to him. Like, he's just kind of like
it's great. It's also like, you can tell how good the writing is, because obviously Alan Rickman is just like such a magnetic personality that you just want to watch whatever villainous thing he's doing. But the cast of characters that surrounds him, because we eventually find out that these are, petty thieves, it's such like this crazy kind of international cast of characters. You have kind of like these, two German brothers. You have this one guy that looks like Fabio. You've got the hacker guy. You've got the Asian guy played by Al Leong, which in any 80s movie, if you needed like an Asian guy to be your bad guy, he was one of them.
Right.
You have the main guy that's down in the taking care of the security desk, who I always thought was like Huey Lewis for like the longest time. He just kind of looks like him.
He does look like Huey Lewis.
But it's just like, I think we should also give credit to John McTiernan, because it's set up where where everybody is at every moment, and like all the floors, I feel like we could map them out in our heads of like what floor is being worked on,
Yes.
where the main office is, what's going on, and the on the rooftop, what's going on in the basement. It's so well planned and thought out, and I think especially in some of the later movies, it really shows just how hard it is to keep track of such like a whole mess of action and adventure.
Yeah, you lose the sense of space in the other movies that this movie so efficiently provides, but it's also because Nakatomi Plaza is such an integral character in the movie.
Oh yeah.
And it's what as the movies go on, they kind of lose the feel for why Die Hard was so special. But the reason it was so special, like we said, you have this everyman way over his head, but also trapped in a single location, fighting against the odds that are like stacked against him. And that really gave Die Hard such a unique spin and edge that I think kind of gets lost later on, but it's so crucial to why this first one works so well.
Oh, yeah.
Just that sense of like claustrophobia, but also these like wide open spaces, just these unfinished floors. Like it's such an iconic look. But like you said, you always know where everything is. You always know where you are, and you always know what's happening.
Well, there's one little instance where he's up, and I think he's on like the floor that's right below the roof, and he's trying to figure out where he is. So he's about to go through the air duct, and so he sees the poster of the naked chick, and he kind of like taps it as to like okay, that's right here,
a reminder to himself. Yes.
And then when he like he goes on through, and then he starts a gunfight, and he comes back through, we know exactly where we are because we've already gotten that signifier, and it's just it's laid out so perfectly. Like that's why I love coming back to this movie, because there's nothing wasted, and I feel like I pick up on something every single time of like some little intricate detail that's just it's so much fun to watch.
And McClane himself, like that, Willis brings that energy to it, that like sense of like when he comes by and he kind of like taps the poster, the way he kind of talks to himself, and the energy of it is so endearing. Like you are just immediately like on this guy's side. You're like, we're all in this together, because he's expressing exactly what the audience is saying. Like he's just like, what are you doing? Like, John, what are you doing? Oh my God, you're so crazy. And it's just the sheer, like, there's no filter on what he says. He is just very, very much like, he's so human, and it's so perfect. It just makes him so lovable. But you've also like, Die Hard, the first Die Hard, and none of the other movies really ever do this again. The first Die Hard has a place for his character to go. He has a character arc. There's a story here. There's an intimate, emotional story, not just for him, but for Powell, for everybody. They all get little arcs. And you have John, this guy who is coming to LA. He's come to see his wife. They're not doing well. The movie starts with this very like kind of like they're having this sort of petty argument, but you get such a rich sense of these people and what is happening between them, and the fight for him, and the emotional beat that's paid off in the bathroom where he's basically like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, and he's pulling glass out of his feet, and we're so with him. But like, it's such a beautiful thing, and you're fighting not just because you want him to survive, but you want him to save his wife. How many of these movies where it's like, I have to save my daughter, and you're like, just kill the daughter, kill the wife. I don't care. This movie makes everyone it's so important that the performances are so good, but it's like this movie takes great care in making sure that you care, that you want him to succeed, that at the end of the movie, when there's a danger of his wife falling out the window, you are feeling like you're on the edge of your seat, like, oh my God, like you have to help her. But I think that speaks so much to Bedelia's performance as it does to the writing itself. But that's what also just really endears me to this first movie, is that sense of emotional content. It's about the relationships between these characters too. Like, it's about the relationship. It's like there's a bromance here too between Powell and McClane that is so touching and so moving. I honestly get very like emotional at the end when they finally see each other.
If you're not tearing up by the end of this movie, as soon as they hug, when they make eye contact, they don't have to say who is who. If you're not tearing up, you have no soul, you have no heart, you're not in the Christmas spirit. No wonder you don't think this is a Christmas movie.
I was about to say,
I don't even know if you're human, okay?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't tear up at the end of this movie, you're the type of person who doesn't think this is a Christmas movie.
Heartless.
It's beautiful, but I love that so much. That is something that is so people. I think when you look at the series as a whole, I think it's very important to look back on this first Die Hard movie and see that emotional core is why this movie is so far above its sequels. And it's not that the sequel, there are some sequels that are better than others, but none of them reach the same peak because they just don't have anything to say, and Die Hard had a really special story to tell. It's a lot like Back to the Future. Back to the Future had a story to tell. It wasn't just about the time travel and the zaniness, which Back to the Future Part 2 really emphasizes. It's about a kid who gets to see what his parents were like when they were kids, and that heart is so important to why Back to the Future is so special. I think the heart of Die Hard is the relationship between him and Powell, is the relationship between him and his wife, and it really is why this movie, beyond the excitement, beyond the thrills, which are all there, it's why that movie is really kind of head and shoulders above the competition.
Oh, completely. Now, we only have 4 other movies to get through, but before we move on to any others, which, I mean, this should be where the bulk of the conversation should be happening, because listen, this is just a perfect movie.
It really is.
But there's two things I want to state. First off, Jan de Bont shoots the hell out of this movie. Like, action movies don't deserve to look this good.
No, I completely agree. The look of the film, there's so much excitement. I was reading about how they kind of they were talking about how you don't typically move the camera, and in terms of editing, you don't cut from one movement to another shot that's moving. But they do a lot of that in this movie, and the energy you feel, just the cinematography combined with the editing, the movie has such a unique look and feel. And it's so weird that you spend a lot of time in these kind of cold sort of these floors that are unfinished, and you can kind of feel the chill, but at the same time the movie has such a richness and a sense of color to it. And I just think about it in comparison to the 5th movie, which has that sheen of dull, saturated cinematography that
don't spoil anything.
Yeah, without spoiling anything. But it has that sheen of modern action cinematography where you saturate the colors, you rob it of any richness, and you just look back on this movie, and it is so part of the fabric of the film, the beautiful cinematography and the way it just looks. It's so good.
It looks amazing. It looks beautiful. But the other thing I wanted to say before we moved on was on my Letterboxd review, I've had this up for a couple of years now, are my 10 easy steps to realizing Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And if you bear with me, I'd like to
please
profess these 10 facts.
I think there are people out in the world who need to hear this. So
they need to hear this. Means. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Fact number 1. The entire movie occurs not only at a Christmas party, but on Christmas Eve. When you hear these little notes, they're actually on Christmas Eve. And so, you couldn't get any more Christmas than that.
Agreed.
Number 2, the FBI presents Hans and Theo with a Christmas miracle. Okay? Number 3, John's wife's name is Holly, not unlike the traditional holiday foliage. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Okay. Number 4, at least 3 Christmas songs are sung and or played. Run DMC's Christmas in Hollis, Let It Snow, and Ode to Joy. That sounds pretty Christmassy to me.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Number 5, Ho 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 is both uttered and written. Number 6, John McClane uses proper and or improper use of Christmas wrapping tape, depending on your point of view.
I'd say it's never been more appropriate since.
Agreed. Number 7, John McClane is a weary traveler from afar, much like Mary and Joseph.
Oh, I like that.
Now, here's the thing. A pregnant woman is featured. There's actually 2 pregnant women in here, but there is one pregnant woman who may or may not be immaculately conceived. The father's identity is unclear. She is at the party. Could it be baby Jesus? We don't know. Okay,
it's never definitively stated that it's
not stated.
So
it's not
I think
stated.
we can only assume.
Yeah, immaculate conception is still on the table. Number 9, Al is seen purchasing gifts for a pregnant woman right before he is summoned by a bright light in the sky. Could it be the Star of Bethlehem? Or could it be gunfire? We don't know. But can I also state this? The gifts he was buying does have a golden hue to it. Some people call it Twinkies, but could they have been another color? He could have gotten a ho-ho. He could have gotten ding-dongs. He didn't. He got a Twinkie.
I mean, the Twinkie is absolutely a kingly gift for a potential savior. So, yeah.
It's true. And number 10, Carl, the long-haired, blonde, bombshell, terrorist, he learns the true meaning of Christmas spirit is spending time with his family. When Tony passes away, John takes, Tony by the neck and wrestles him down a flight of stairs. That emptiness is felt, and he knows that all the untraceable bearer bonds in the world just can't, it can't make up for losing a loved one like that.
True. That's true.
how much, guys? How much more Christmas do you need this movie to get?
I mean, this is absurd. That list again. This is to have to create a list in the first place. It's like, yes, this is fantastic and further proof. But come on, people, let's get with it.
I don't know what else we can say, guys.
No, I thank you for sharing that. I think people might need to hear that. But I'm happy
welcome. It really takes it out of me, when people just are going to be as ignorant as that.
What else? What else is? I mean, there's so much. We could focus the entire podcast on this episode or on this movie, and I just to finish it off. There's so much I love about this movie. Do you have a particular moment that stands out to you? Because I can't. It's so hard to pick.
No, I honestly can't, because literally while I'm my annual watch with the wife, I'm quoting it the entire time. There's not a moment where I can't.
It's so quotable.
Well, that makes even more sense because, working when I was the creative manager at the Alamo, this was one of the go-to Christmas movie parties that I would throw, the quote-alongs. Everybody would get a Twinkie, everybody would get a cap gun, and everybody would get a lighter. And I had to convince my owners that getting a lighter was allowed, even though it might not have been. But we made it work. And people of Virginia were ecstatic. And it's one of the most fun quote-alongs to be a part of. There is nothing else to say. No, this entire movie, all 140 minutes, 130 minutes of it is...
It's perfection. Perfect. And so there's one moment I want to point out that I don't know if enough people talk about, and I want to talk about it right now. Maybe one of my top, it's not even a real line, but I'm going to call it a real line of dialogue. One of my favorite moments in the entire movie is when McClane gets caught by Fabio, and he's got the gun in his face. He's like, I can't remember what his line is, but John's response is just, and then they get into the fight. That is one of my favorite moments in any movie ever.
No, it's great.
It's
it's great.
Good. But yeah. So I guess a final rating for the first Die Hard. What do you think? We want to do Twinkies? Twinkies as a rating system?
It's everything a grown boy needs.
That's exactly right. So on a scale of 1 to 5 Twinkies, with 5 being the highest, how many Twinkies would you give Die Hard 1?
5. Give me all 5 Twinkies. This is
all 5 Twinkies for Die Hard. Let's give it to him. And Brad's not here, but do we want to just kind of guess what we think Brad's rating
would probably go for like 2.5 Twinkies.
I think he would give it probably. Yeah, he'd probably not only think this isn't a Christmas movie, but he'd probably give it something pretty low.
Yeah.
Now I would say I think Brad would give it a 5.
I think he would too.
Moving on to a movie I don't know if any of us would give 5 stars to. Die Hard 2. Die Harder, which is maybe a fitting title. I was going to say one of the less creative titles in the world, but also a fitting title for this movie, because it basically is just the same movie with a little bit more.
Well, I mean, it's almost the problem of what Die Hard not only did to itself, but did to the entire 90s. Like, every elevator pitch in the 90s was Die Hard in a blank, Die Hard on a this, Die Hard in a that. And this was Die Hard at an airport, Yep. It was, they really, they created such an iconic and really kind of like, easy kind of premise. Take some sort of, hero, and it could be like an everyman hero, put him in an enclosed situation that he can't get out of. So, put him on a train, put him in a hockey arena. I mean, so many movies came from Die Hard. Pick any 90s action movie, and it's Die Hard onto this.
Yeah. And this movie also, I didn't realize it came out just 2 years after the first one. Man, that was a fast turnaround. Yep. And none other than our favorite director returning from the Nightmare on Elm Street series to make the world a better place for Die Hard. Rennie Harlan.
I say we just keep doing. We only do franchises where Rennie Harlan directs a movie. I feel like that should be when Brad and I come back to do this. That should be the premise.
This is a fantastic idea. Shockingly, so was this Rennie Harlan's second movie or his third movie after his Nightmare on Elm Street 4? Yeah, so he did a movie called The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, but then Die Hard 2 is like his second real big movie.
Yeah.
And I have to say, if we're comparing this to The Dream Master, this is definitely a big leap forward for him from a technical standpoint.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because it feels like, first of all, Die Hard 2 has a bad rep. Maybe deservedly so. But I will say this, Die Hard 2 is very much in the same spirit of the first Die Hard. Probably because they stole a lot of the same plot beats and a lot of the same elements. Mm-hmm. But it does feel like it feels like Die Hard in a way I don't think many of the other sequels do.
Yeah, that is correct.
At the same time, Die Hard 2 also suffers from the fact that, like you said, it's an elevator pitch for any of the 90s action movies. And even John says it in the movie where he's just like, how can the same thing happen to the same guy twice? That's basically Die Hard 2 in a nutshell.
Yeah. I actually think this is the movie where we would probably split off from Brad, because I have a feeling that Brad is very pro Die Hard 2. Like,
I'm fine with it. He seems like a Die Hard 2 apologetic if ever I've met one.
He really does. And I think, probably a lot of it has to do with, and deservedly so, a really great cast of bad guys in this one. Maybe too many bad guys, but really great actors as those bad guys. You have William Sadler right off the bat doing naked yoga in a hotel room.
I know.
I mean, what else do we need? Oh, well, we could use Franco Nero, Django himself on a plane headed for America. And then you also have a baby Robert Patrick as one of the henchmen.
Yes.
You've got who else was on there? John Leguizamo. He had a little bit part in there.
Did he really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's a lot of like little guys that fit into the little baddie roles. And
well, you know what? It's a great cast, but honestly, the bad guys in this movie, they just pale. I mean, Gruber is such a high bar. I get it.
Oh, completely.
But like these guys are kind of charmless. Like, it's like an actor like William Sadler, maybe let him have a little bit more fun with it. Like, he kind of hams it up a little bit, but for the most part, they're all kind of just like straight-laced and really dull. I don't know if that was just something where they were like, well, McClane will bring all the laughs and the fun, so the bad guys need to be serious. But I feel like part of why Die Hard 2 suffers, not just because it's just trying to be Die Hard 1 but in an airport, but it's because it just like those bad guys just never compel or entertain in the same way that Gruber does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's it's a carbon copy of itself, and it doesn't do a bad job. It just doesn't wow us in any way. It doesn't, it's not in a creative, inventive level that Die Hard was. And also, you know what? I think another aspect of it is that John McClane is in a better space, a better headspace, a better mindset. He's back with his wife. Things are nice. Of course, he doesn't get along with his mother-in-law, but who
be careful who listens to this.
Exactly. But when he had so much more flaws, which made him more human in the first one, and this one just kind of makes him like, oh, he's course corrected everything and he's good to go. Yeah. Now he's just got to fight some bad guys.
He's now like. They do this in the first one, to be fair. Like, he's kind of the only guy who really understands what's going on, but it kind of makes sense in that movie. In Die Hard 2, for him to kind of, like, everyone's like, look, McClane, we got this. And he's like, I don't think so. How about this? It just felt a little ridiculous. Like, he's always the one who's always right. Like you said, he doesn't feel as fallible in this movie, which is part of what made the first one so great. And this one, he gets beat up. He has his fair share of, like, bruises. But for the most part, he kind of like it's starting to dip into that territory where it's like, all right, John McClane is kind of just becoming an action hero. Mm-hmm. You still have the charm, you still have the everyman vibe, but it feels a little more put on and a little less natural than it did in the first one. But this movie's still got some good moments. I like you've got the iconic ejector seat moment.
Oh yeah,
that shot where my wife, who has never seen Die Hard 2, I was like, just watch this, you've seen this bit, and she was like, oh my god, yeah, I didn't realize that was this movie. And I'm like, yeah, that's this movie. I like the kind of zany action, like it's very much like Rennie Harlin, but not so ridiculously Rennie Harlin where it's like a pain to watch. Like he's still got one foot kind of in the realm of Die Hard where he's trying to honor that film, but it kind of, it kicks up the action a little bit. The violence is even more outlandish with like him stabbing a guy in the eye with an icicle, like a guy getting sucked into a jet engine. It's just like the movie is a little bit more like cranking up to 11. But the problem is Die Hard was great because it kind of, while it was definitely outlandish, it has some, Alan Rickman does like to chew the scenery a little bit, but not so ridiculously that it undermines the sense that, okay, this is a guy in over his head. It feels grounded in reality. Die Hard 2 is taking a step outside of that and saying, well, we have to kind of make an action movie out of it. So, yeah. That's where I land on the spectrum of Die Hard 2. I thought I disliked this more than I really did. I actually don't mind this movie.
No, not at all. No, I can still, I don't even want to say stomach. I still enjoy this movie. Usually when you watch Die Hard 2, it's because you just watched Die Hard 1, and that's a huge problem because like we said, we gave Die Hard 1 5 Twinkies.
Yes. Not just any movie can get 5 Twinkies, and Die Hard 2 definitely does not get 5 Twinkies. But in terms of a rating scale, I just say Naked Yoga. Do we want to do Naked Yoga for Die Hard 2?
Are you asking me to do Naked Yoga right now?
I think you should be doing Naked. I've been doing Naked Yoga this entire episode, but
that's where I've been going wrong the whole time. Yeah, Naked Yoga works. I will give it three Naked William Sadler Yogas.
I'll give it 3 as well. I think I'm hovering between 2.5 and 3, but frankly, the movie isn't so painful to watch as certain movies in this franchise. What about Brad?
Sure.
What do we think Brad would give it?
I think he would legit give it a 4.
I think so too. That seems like a Brad score if ever I've heard one. Let's step into Die Hard with a Vengeance, shall we?
Let's do it.
How do we feel about this? Die Hard with a Vengeance is interesting. First of all, because I think Die Hard 2 is the last movie to kind of try to be a Die Hard movie, and from this point on, the series feels like, and literally in Die Hard with a Vengeance's case, I don't know if this applies to the other movies, but they all feel like movies where they just hijacked someone else's script and decided to make it a Die Hard movie. That's absolutely what they did with this one. There was a script I think called Simon Says, and they decided to they're like, well, let's we want to make some money. Let's turn this into a Die Hard movie and make that happen. And that is really what Die Hard with a Vengeance feels like. It feels like another movie that they took John McClane or some variation of John McClane and put him in the movie. And while I don't love it, at the same time, I appreciate it for trying something different than really all the other movies. But where do you sit on the spectrum of Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Die Hard with a Vengeance is great. This is a great movie. Oh, this is so good. So what we have here is we have Bruce Willis back in full John McClane mode because he is now completely... Bonnie Bedelia has moved on, as she rightfully should. John McClane is a drunk. He's a no-good dad. He's having to shove down bottles of aspirin just to make it through the day. He's put into a situation where, Hans Gruber's brother is now taking vengeance on this guy in order just to, cause a distraction. And he teams up with Samuel Jackson, and it could not be a better, buddy cop duo.
Yes.
For, a civilian to cop sort of mentality of, they hate each other, and then they come to respect each other by the end, and they have great chemistry. I really, really love Die Hard with a Vengeance. I think it's a lot of fun, and that's all there is to it. It's great.
I think their chemistry, I think the two of them are really what make the movie work. Absolutely. Because I don't love Die Hard with a Vengeance, as I said. But I do have a fondness for it and a respect for it, because this is really, again, this is a franchise that from the get-go kind of painted itself into a corner. And Die Hard 2 was like, well, we could just make the same movie again. And Die Hard with a Vengeance, I have to admire them saying, even though they had the script handed to them from a different movie.
I think there's lots of movies that do that. It's what they do with it that makes it, that can turn it into something interesting. And I think by, kind of using the influence of, how we don't call, how we call Die Hard a Christmas movie because it takes place during Christmas time. They're like, you know what? Let's get off the Christmas motif because we did that with Die Hard 2, and that really highlighted the fact that we're just doing the same thing over again. Here he is stuck at Christmas again with another issue. We're doing the 4th of July thing, and we're going, taking the Federal Reserve of America, and we're taking all this gold. Like that was a lot of fun, and I just love the kind of down and dirty griminess of it. It's it's still 90s New York, and I love having McClane back on this coast. Well, he was in DC in the second one, but he's back in the in New York working proper, and there's just a lot of fun being had, especially with the two of them, and the kind of snarkiness that they both they're both the bad cop, usually when there's a buddy cop thing, Danny Glover's the good cop, and what's his face is the bad cop. Why did I just say what's his face?
Who that what's his name? Jimmy Gibson? I don't know.
Yeah. That guy Gibson. And he's the bad cop, and so there's always this push and pull, but these guys are just constantly pushing against each other and against everybody else, and it's really fun.
Well, it's funny. Zeus is kind of the John McClane character in this movie in a way. He's the guy who's the fish out of water who has to kind of make do. And McClane is a little bit more seasoned, but he's just kind of I really don't want to be here. I think maybe I don't mind that angle, but I think that always kind of bugged me that McClane is so down on his luck in this movie.
Really? I love that.
Yeah, it's not even something that's a personal preference. It's it doesn't even, I can even recognize how it works in this movie. There's just something about it that I don't know. It kind of, it prevents me from really enjoying it or really loving it. I like Zeus more than McClane in this movie, and I think that might be partly, that could be the purpose, that could be the point. But I also do like that McTiernan came back for this one,
and you can feel it. You can feel his distinct vision, especially pairing it up right side by Rennie Harlan. Who else he seems to take more care of are his bad guys. Jeremy Irons is a fantastic bad
Jeremy
guy.
Irons, he's just wonderful, and that's another thing. I like him as Simon, but I almost, just with the second movie, I almost wish I'd gotten a little bit more with him.
Definitely.
In the same way with nothing matches Gruber. I mean, that much we've stated, but Jeremy Irons is such a great actor that I wish he'd gotten, and especially because he's related. He's Gruber's brother, which is that feels like a very how do we rewrite the script and make it directly connected to Die Hard? But at the same time, I feel like I wish we'd gotten a little bit more, because I feel like Irons is the kind of actor who could have really had fun with that in a way that he you get hints of it, but he never fully gets his chance to go all out, which bums me out a little bit. But I love this movie. There's always been something about the end that always kind of peters out. I love the first 2/3 of this. The last third just kind of feels like it starts to get a little bit lazy, and they don't really know what to do and how to end it and how to have their big climax. So that's the only part that takes me out of it. But for most of it, I really have a lot of fun with this movie. I agree. I think the third act especially suffers from a complete disconnection from the first two acts. But I love, like you said, it's Zeus and McClane. They have a great relationship. I love the fact that there's something very exciting and fun about the two of them having to stick together and run around town and defuse all these bombs. It's insane, and it's that same these guys are in way over their head feeling that I think is what made the original Die Hard work so well, and what was kind of missing from Die Hard 2. So I like that Die Hard with a Vengeance brings that back. At the same time, it just doesn't all gel. I give Die Hard with a Vengeance props for trying something else. But what is our rating system for Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Ooh.
Should we
Gold
do?
bars?
How about those? Do you want to do those little metal splinters that he uses, that he pulls out of his arm to?
Oh, that
unlock?
one. Yeah.
How many metal
How
splinters?
about rolls of quarters?
Rolls of quarters. Let's do that. How many rolls of quarters do you give Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Yeah, I'm teetering between 3.5 and 4.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm gonna push it to 4.
Okay.
Here's why: is because I can see Brad wanting to give it 4, but he wants to push up his Die Hard 2. Like he wants to make that feel a little more special, so he's gonna pull his Die Hard with a Vengeance back to 3.5. So I'm gonna go 4 just to offset Brad's 3.5.
Perfect. I'll do 3.5 for this one as well.
Cool.
And I think it's probably the best. Again, I'm spoiling future.
Go ahead and spoil away. It's easily the best sequel.
I think it is. And that brings us to Die Hard 4. This is over a decade later. The Die Hard movie, I remember I was just around this time I was in college, and I was really getting into like researching and learning more about productions and movies. And following a lot of Ain't It Cool News stuff. And I remember Die Hard 4 being so surrounded with controversy, just because from the fact that I think they announced from the get-go that it was going to be PG-13, which was like a major no-no for Die Hard, because Die Hard's all about ridiculous violence and insane obscenities. And I remember it was like this movie had just kind of this feeling of like, oh God, this is going to suck. And I just was really bummed out about it. And then Justin Long being cast in it, which is so funny because Justin Long seems like a pretty cool guy. But for some reason, him being cast in it, I just remember thinking like, oh no, he's going to be like that annoying sidekick. So this movie had so much going against it. And shockingly, I remember really enjoying it. And even now, even though I don't think it's a great movie, I still kind of like it a lot.
I think me and you are on the same exact page. I remember like kind of thinking this was like a great movie when I first watched it. I think it's pretty good now.
Yeah,
but
same.
I still have, there's still some stuff that I get into it. I think Len Wiseman is a very 2000s director.
Yes.
Like he has such like that look.
He did all the Underworld movies.
Yeah. Which
nothing gets more 2000s than that.
Brad might jump this up to 5 stars right away. But you know what? There's something about it where there's some really good like action set pieces.
Yes.
It really starts to get into the confounding like big magnum opus like stuff that's like, we started off in a building with 30 floors, and he's trying to get out of that, and now he's like jumping onto like jets.
Yes.
And
this is McClane has become a superhero.
Absolutely, and that's definitely what takes me away.
It takes you away, and this one, like with A Vengeance, feels like it was another script that they repurposed and made a Die Hard movie. And yeah, the PG-13 rating kind of hurts it. You get the sense of like, oh, McClane is not getting to sort of unleash in the same way, and there is that sense of that. But the truth is, it still feels like it does. You do feel like it's McClane. You feel like he's in over his head. You got this goofy hackers element that was like dated even back in 2007.
Oh man, I saw. I think was it you that tweeted out? It was like this movie immediately dates itself, and it completely does. Like I hate saying that about a movie, but like there's certain movies where like it could be made at no other time in existence. Like Die Hard, the original Die Hard, I feel like it could be made today.
Yes.
And come out and feel just as fresh and as lively and as amazing as always. That like premise, the whole fire sale thing, and it seemed like anybody that knew HTML knew a single line was considered a hacker back then.
Right.
And it was just kind of like, oh gosh, we're going there, and especially it really felt like the first like OK Boomer movie.
Yes,
that's what this movie is. The first OK Boomer action movie.
It's Die Hard : okay, boomer.
Watch. That's what Die Hard 6 is going to be.
Yes.
But here's my theory about Bruce Willis. Is Bruce Willis was only good when he had hair, and it was still very little hair, even up to Die Hard with a Vengeance. But as soon as he shaved and went bald, there were only a few roles right around that time, like Unbreakable,
right?
And I'm trying to think what else. There was maybe one or two other roles that he was really good at, and then he just started doing his Bruce Willis thing, and
shtick, yeah.
It never really, did anything for me. And this is the one where it started to feel like the only time he really felt like he was going to do something Bruce Willis-y, it was like if he starts like muttering to himself, "Well, John, what are you doing?" That kind of stuff.
Right.
Other than that, I didn't really get the big Bruce Willis sort of vibe. I wanted him to be even more of a deadbeat because he seemed like he had his act together now, and maybe I just want I want a really worn down man.
You just want the drunk slob that's in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
We've got plenty of other heroic single dads out there in every other action movie that came out from the 90s. Van Damme was a single dad in every single movie, and then Steven Seagal, and we got plenty of that. Give me the loser, the real loser. That's what I want.
Yeah. How did you feel about his daughter playing such a prominent role in the movie? Did you like that element? It felt a little goofy. Because the whole I gotta get my daughter back feels like such a trope for these action movies.
Oh, it's completely forced, but
I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah,
I thought she was really good in the role, and I
exactly.
loved the moment
with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, it was watchable, and so it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did nothing for the script or anything like that.
But she kind of disappears for the first half of the movie, and then the second half you have to bring her back because I guess they needed to give McClane some sort of personal motivation for taking out these guys, because the whole time he's kind of I don't really care. And I think that may be part of the problem with the third movie for me, is that there isn't much of a personal reason for him to be involved with anything aside from the relationship with Gruber. But even then it's it doesn't feel like that drives him. He doesn't really want to kill the guy. He just wants to stop the guy. So in this one, I appreciate the effort to make it a personal thing, even if it feels forced. I also do love the moment where his daughter's kidnapped, and Timothy Oliphant puts her on the phone or the walkie-talkie, and she's like, "Daddy," and he goes, "Yeah," and she goes, "Now there are only 4 of them," or whatever the line is. I love that. That's such a that was such a great moment. I also, shockingly, I thought every time I watch this movie, every time I watch it, I think I'm going to be annoyed by Justin Long, and I'm never annoyed by Justin Long. He's so good in this movie.
Yeah.
And it is a character that I think in any other actor's hands could have been the really annoying, almost Jar Jar Binks character of the movie, but he is so, I think, inherently likable and genuine and sincere in the role that it pulls it out of that realm and makes it a character you actually really end up liking and caring about by the end of it.
Yeah, he was that genuine, good-looking nerd that you're you're not really a nerd, but I'll accept you just because
yes.
you are.
So
you and you're pretending to be one of us. Because I mean, this was also the era where he was doing the Mac commercials, and so he was in the zeitgeist of kind of being the nerdy guy, of being the techie guy, and so it just kind of fit. That he was being this hacker, hacktivist sort of role.
Right. But again, the villain role, Timothy Oliphant, isn't given much to do, but I think he's probably the most boring villain yet. He's just a very dull, yes, John, I will hack into everything and da-da-da. I think that kind of hurts the movie too. It kind of is just all right, we're treading out of Die Hard territory and into kind of generic action movie with Bruce Willis at the center. But it doesn't hurt the movie so tremendously, but the villains are definitely kind of lame in this movie. Anything else? I do agree. I think the action in this movie is great. There's a lot of really great the chase scene, the tunnel scene where they're all these cars are driving around and flipping all over them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great moments in this movie where I'm oh my God, that
there's
was
also,
fantastic.
You know exactly what era we're in because there's a guy doing parkour. But there's some really cool shots where he follows the there's this one cool one where he follows him jumping from one side of the alley to the other, and then like kind of careening down a fire escape, and it's a pretty cool shot because it follows him pretty seamlessly, and there's some good stuff that's being shot there. So there's still quite a bit I actually dig about the movie. As hard as I feel like I'm kind of being about it right now, there's still some enjoyable stuff, and I do just like being around John McClane, even if he's not like the exact McClane that I want. It's still a snarky cop, getting the job done.
Yeah, it's not quite a Die Hard movie, but it's like a good action movie.
Yeah.
And it still works for me. So yeah. I guess we'll say, how many on a scale of 1 to 5, dated hacker movies, dated hacking hacktivists? How many hacktivists would you give Live Free or Die Hard?
Oh, I feel like I'm teetering between 2.5 and 3 on this one.
Okay.
But because I'm a positive guy, I'm going 3.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll give this one 3 too. I think this could be a 3.5 for me, but it does still, it's kind of just forgettable at the end of the day, and you want a Die Hard movie to be more memorable.
Yeah.
And speaking of forgettable Die Hard movies, let's talk about A Good Day to Die Hard, Die Hard 5. This is the first time
we could just end the podcast right here. We don't have to talk about it.
Oh, we can do that. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Goodbye.
We hope you enjoyed.
Yeah.
This is the first one that I had not seen before.
I rented this just for you, and it was a painful moment because I have my the Die Hard 25th anniversary Blu-ray collection, which has 1 through 4,
Same.
and so that was great. And then I was like, oh wait, I still have to watch a 5th one.
I had the same realization. I was like, oh damn it, I have to actually pay money to check out Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah.
It was not a good day to Die Hard for that movie.
Yeah. I have no idea what was going on in this movie. Like
I don't either. I couldn't tell you. There was a period of time, I think about like somewhere between the second and third act, where it was just like focusing on the villain, and it felt like, has it been like an hour since Bruce Willis was on screen?
And this is like the shortest one, I think, by far. I think it's only like 90 minutes or 98 minutes, and it felt like it was going on forever.
Oh, no joke. So my wife, she had to go get some groceries, and I thought the movie feels so long that she left the room, and I was just watching, and she came back, and I was like, oh, hey, welcome back. And she goes, I haven't even left yet. It's only been 10 minutes. That is, I'm not joking. That actually happened. That is exactly how bad this movie is that it feels so much longer than like the 97-minute length it is. But like beyond, so the 4th movie I think had every right to be bad, and it's not.
Yeah.
This movie, it's like from the start, it's just bad.
Yeah.
And it's also, you have John Moore, the director, who has only directed garbage.
Yep.
Like, Behind Enemy Lines is okay. I never saw Flight of the Phoenix, but the Omen remake, Max Payne, like talk about like a terrible, terrible action movie. And then it's written by Skip Woods, who, again, like he'd written Swordfish, and he'd done some writing on Live Free or Die Hard, but he'd also done X-Men Origins, Wolverine, and Hitman, and the A-Team.
See, so I didn't even look into what he did. Those movies, well, Brad will tell you A-Team is a work of art, but everything else that you just mentioned, Swordfish is abysmal, X-Men Origins Wolverine is abysmal. So, like, there's nothing good there. Like, first off, I knew I couldn't look up somebody with the first name that went by Skip. And apologies if you're listening and your name is Skip, but I just don't trust you as a human.
Yeah, unless it's my dog Skip.
Yeah,
I don't.
If you're a dog, you're probably the best dog in the whole kennel. But as for a screenwriter, I don't know. Just go change your name, please.
Please do that.
This was just so confusing. Like the bad guy was. They're trying to capture the bad guy by John's son goes in and gets arrested in order to break him out, but the other bad guys break him out instead, and so they just piggyback on that. Then there's a point where like,
so McClane goes to Russia because he hears his son's arrested, and he's like, I gotta go save my son. And I don't. So the 4th movie tries to suggest that like there's an estranged relationship between John and his kids.
Yeah.
But by the end of Die Hard 4, his relationship with his daughter is salvaged.
Right.
And you would think that would extend to his son, but I guess for some reason they were like, oh no, his son hates him.
Yeah.
And that is also like, sorry, so we're doing this kind of the same movie as the fourth movie, but like also without any semblance of creativity or charm. This movie is such a like, first of all, it as we were saying, the movie looks like garbage. It is so poorly shot. There's this one moment where it's like a bunch of people in like a Bourne Identity room where they're like commenting like, we got to find where this guy's going, and they've got all the maps up. The camera just arbitrarily zooms in and out, I guess to create the sense of intensity or excitement, and it gave me a headache. I was so like frustrated, but the movie is so like absent anything exciting, any element of inspiration, but more importantly, it's not funny. And Die Hard movies are always fun or funny.
There's not a line of dialogue that I could tell you like that I recall that made me chuckle, that made me do anything but like roll my eyes or like just like say, why did he say that, or like what's going on? Like does
he even say yippee-ki-yay in this movie?
I don't.
They even said it in a PG-13 movie. Like, I mean, they the gunshot masks it, but I don't think he says it in this movie.
Yeah, I don't think so. They use it on the promo thing. Yeah, the promo was Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Russia. That was the best part of this movie.
That's easily the most creative thing they came up with for this movie. I think that's the biggest thing. So the movie is a generic action movie that has
it's barely
very,
a generic
very
action movie. Like there's not even like just good action set pieces.
No,
like,
you're right. There really isn't.
The only thing I remember is like the final action shot of like the helicopter falling down as they're falling down. That's kind of cool, but also completely doesn't make sense. But they're doing it.
Yeah, there's some cool car flips like when earlier in the movie, but I just like from the beginning it was like one of those movies where you just would rather be sleeping.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot where you just are like, this is just a miserable viewing experience.
Yeah. Why
everyone seems miserable.
Yeah.
This is also the only Die Hard movie where, with Die Hard with a Vengeance and Live Free or Die Hard, it felt like they took two random scripts and repurposed them as Die Hard movies, like just shove John McClane in there. This is the first Die Hard movie where it not only feels like they took a completely random script and turned it into a Die Hard movie, but they also forgot to put John McClane in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like Bruce Willis is just playing miserable Bruce Willis.
Oh, yeah. There's no John McClane in here. Like if there was... I mean, I just don't understand this movie. There's nothing... I've got zero good things to say about this movie.
Yeah, Jai Courtney is kind of miserable and
He's
terrible.
Jai Courtney.
And
Jai Bless. Yeah.
It's just I don't think that we need to say anything more about it. Really, it's not a good day to Die Hard.
Can we go back to Die Hard 1?
Yeah, let's just go back to Die Hard 1 and just talk
good.
about that.
Yeah.
What is there a rating system even that we can come up with for this?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. What's a Russian thing? I don't even remember any Russian things in here. Like
no, it doesn't even feel Russian.
A Chernobyl? Can we do a Chernobyl?
Can we just do Mother Russia's? Can we just take the tagline?
Let's do Mother Russia's.
The tagline's the only inspired part.
Let's do it.
How many Mother Russias would you give this movie?
It gets one Mother Russia for making it to the screen. Congratulations.
Yes, 100%. I give it one Mother Russia as well. What a sad way to end the Die Hard movies. And I don't think this is a franchise that needs to keep going. This is not James Bond. This is not Rambo. Like even Rambo shouldn't have kept going. But like,
no, agreed. But here's in true, Hollywood fashion, the prequel I believe is at least announced. As of last year, they had announced a prequel, which I believe was based off a comic book that came out at some point, and I believe Lynn Weissman is attached. And of course, in true, old man action movie lore, you call it McClane, and who knows what's going to happen? But we'll see.
I can tell you one thing that will happen is I will be miserable, and I will probably not be seeing it.
I'll probably be miserable, but guess what? I probably will be seeing it because I watch every stupid piece of crap out there.
Well, if we see it, we'll reunite and we'll
Yes.
talk about it.
Done.
I just realized, did we not give Brad's ratings for Live Free or Die Hard or this one?
No, we didn't do Live Free or Die Hard.
So what do you think? I think Brad would probably give it 2.5 as well.
For Live Free or Die Hard, you know what? He's a huge Justin Long fan, so he's going to give that 4.5 stars.
All right, okay.
4.5 whatever's hackers, yeah.
Hacktivists.
You know what? I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be that kind of that. He's gonna be that guy, and he's gonna say, you know what, guys, this wasn't all that bad. I think it got a bad rap when it first came out, so I give it 3 Mother Rushes.
Brad, not only do you not show up for this episode, but you're gonna give 3. I can't believe this. That just pains me. But
he also said it's in his top 100 movies of all time.
I think that makes sense, and it's a shame. It's a real shame.
That is something he would say.
So what are our final thoughts on the Die Hard series as a whole? Looking at it as a whole, what do you think this contributes to the action scene?
To the action scene, it contributes everything that we, especially, you know, the two of us, we're relatively the same age, and so growing up and feeding off of like 90s action movies, it was the blueprint for everything that we saw. And so it has so much to offer to us, and I mean it follows a really kind of similar path that a lot of franchises take, where you know, there's a significant dip in quality, and you know, studios get involved. There is going to be that one movie, you know, usually the third, fourth, or fifth movie in there that's like, oh wow, no, this one's actually pretty good. There's some really good stuff in here. For me, that's number 3, and that really works for me. And of course, it usually dies at the very end and suffers a miserable death, and then will be resurrected. This is all repetitive. We're living in a time loop. Life doesn't matter. Merry Christmas.
I think one of the big takeaways from this series is that the Die Hard movies are a perfect example of a franchise that really only needed one movie and then just kept going.
Yeah.
And thankfully, in some ways, found some creative workarounds, but in a lot of ways, there didn't need to be more than one Die Hard movie. And I think watching through all these movies again, I wasn't truly miserable except for the 5th one. They are all passably entertaining, some more so than others, but it just reminded me of how kind of like, you know, just because you have a hit movie, I know that is immediately assigned, like the studios see dollar signs, but like Die Hard is such a perfect standalone movie. In some ways, I would tell people who might not have seen the others, I would just be like, you know, just leave it with Die Hard. You don't really need to see anything else.
Yeah, but we're never gonna have that. We're never gonna have just like a single one-off anything movie. You know, there's always gonna be something sequelized in one way or another, and so we just kind of have to live with it and enjoy when something good does come around. And
we're gonna have to live free, like you said, and die hard.
Yeah, like you said, when there was really only one movie that I just like was rolling my eyes at, and I paid for it. I paid extra money for it. You see what you did to me?
It was all worth it for the art of podcasting.
Do anything for the podcast.
Well, Aaron, this has been, I think I'm filled with Christmas spirit and cheer and joy. And it's all thanks to you, but really it's all thanks to the greatest Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard. That's true. It truly is. It's a miracle. Check my Letterboxd review. Yeah, if you need a quick reference to combat the morons out there who would dare say that this isn't a Christmas movie, just check out Aaron's Letterboxd review, and you have that list right there to help you out. And that's it. I had a great time. Aaron, tell the good people at home where they can find you on the internet. Tell them about Rest in Pictures Podcast. Give them all the deets. Absolutely. You can find me at A Cool Hand Fluke on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I'm always on there, writing reviews and doing stuff. But you can find the missing
Brad Gullickson, who you can find at Mouthwork. I'm even gonna plug him because we're still friends, even if he loves Live Free or Die Hard. You can find him at Mouthwork on all social medias, but you can find us both at Rest in Pictures. We're a podcast that we talk about when somebody in Hollywood has passed away, and we just like really dive into what they provided to the art, to the media that we love the most. What did they provide to cinema? And so our last episode, we focused on Robert Forster. That was a great episode. But we've done everybody. I'd say if you're looking for my 3 favorite episodes to go back and listen to, check out our Agnes Varda episode, the Shinobu Hashimoto episode, and Robbie Mueller, who was an amazing cinematographer, and it's a lot of fun. So find us at Rest in Pictures and subscribe and listen away.
Do all of the above. It's excellent. And find me at Shondorman on Twitter. Find me on Instagram at Shondorman, and hit us up. Let us know what you think about the Die Hard movies. What do you think about Brad's rankings? Those seem really odd to me. So make sure to go after
at him and if you love A Good Day to Die Hard, go follow Mouthdork. And if you hate A Good Day to Die Hard, unfollow him. I think it's fair.
Yeah, that seems fair. But thank you so much for listening. I hope everyone out there has a Merry Christmas. Aaron, I hope you have a Merry Christmas. And now that we have the machine guns, ho, 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 all I have to say is yippee-ki-yay, Captain Falcon.
When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But I do really hope